So the Texas Longhorns put together a very impressive recruiting class last cycle where they were able to put together a class that included the number one quarterback in the nation, the number one linebacker in the nation, and the number one running back in the nation. But that bleeds us into the conversation we have to have today, because it appears Texas could be trending to go back-to-back for the number one running back in the nation, and this is something we have definitely got to break down. Before we can, as always, y'all know the drill, I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Do you believe Steve Sarkeesian and the Texas Longhorns land number one running back in the nation, 5-star Jerrick Gibson? Let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed this content, be sure to like and comment down below, as those interactions seem small, but they are massive to content creators such as myself, and both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And this would be a massive win for the Texas Longhorns for several different reasons. First and foremost, let's start with who is Jerrick Gibson. Well, Jerrick Gibson is one of the most coveted and gifted prospects in the class of 2024. Specifically, he comes in as the number 19 player overall, regardless of position, and as I stated, the number one running back in the nation and a top 10 player in the state of Florida, playing at IMG Academy. And one thing we talk about at length, whenever we talk about players from academies like IMG, they're pretty battle-tested. Not only in the competition they play, but their practices. I mean, they are simulated mini college football practices at IMG. Whenever you get guys from places like that, they're pretty battle-tested. You feel real good about their chances to come in and make a successful transition from the high school to the collegiate ranks, which has to be exciting if you're a Texas fan. But there are several areas why I think it would make sense for Jerrick Gibson to head to the Texas Longhorns. First and foremost is Steve Sarkeesian. He's an offensive-minded guy, so I'm never surprised when we look at college football recruiting and these offensive recruits are interested in playing for offensive-minded head coaches, because they know they're going to put together an explosive offense and they're going to be featured. Something that if you're a running back or if you're a playmaker, it would make sense to look at an offensive-minded head coach. And furthermore, if Sark and the Texas Longhorns have a big year this year, that's going to go a long ways in only improving the legitimacy that this coaching staff has and the legitimacy they're going to be able to recruit with. So that's something we have got to watch. But the second area, I think it makes a lot of sense that Gibson would be interested in the Texas Longhorns, is Longhorns running back coach Tashard Choice, someone who has been on a tear ever since they got to the collegiate ranks. And we've talked about this several times before, that I think it's a compelling factor if you have a coach on roster, such as in this instance at Tashard Choice being your running back coach, that not only played college football, but then played in the NFL, because Tashard Choice was able to play college football, he was able to play in the NFL, and in fact, whenever he transitioned from playing to coaching, his first gig was as an intern with the Dallas Cowboys before he moved on from there to North Texas, Georgia Tech, and inevitably the Texas Longhorns. So if you're Texas, you get in a running back coach that has played college football, they've played in the NFL, they have a familiarity with the state of Texas, and they have a familiarity with Georgia. Some very, very talented recruiting grounds right then and there. And what's more, if we look in the NFL draft this year, I think everybody has pretty much well decided, and deservedly so, Bijan's probably the number one running back off the board. But in my opinion, the number two running back off the board, Jahmyr Gibbs, is an individual that Tashard Choice recruited to Georgia Tech whenever he was the running back coach of Georgia Tech. What's more, he's coming off of a recruiting class where he was able to successfully get the number one running back in the nation, Cedric Baxter. So Tashard Choice has you covered. But speaking of having you covered, we need to talk about how Homefield has you covered for all of your college football apparel and fan accessories. Guys, I am so excited to be able to say Homefield is working with the channel, and you may be asking yourself, what's better than Homefield's already awesome lineup of college football apparel? And what's more, for viewers of this channel, they're offering a special discount. If you click the link in the description and use code ATTS15 at checkout, you get 15% off new customers' first orders. Once again, use the code down in the description at checkout. Use code ATTS15 for 15% off new customers' first orders. Thank you so much to Homefield, and back to the video. So at the end of this, is it a done deal that Gibson ends up with the Texas Longhorns? No, of course not. Guys, if you've been around the channel, if you have kept up with recruiting for any extended period of time, you'll know This is an inexact science. Anything could happen, but it is good if you're a Texas fan that you're laying the foundation this positively and this early. I liken recruiting and I liken building a football team to building a house. You have to start with the foundation, because if you don't start with the foundation, you can get yourself in trouble real quick. And in this instance, it looks like Steve Sarkeesian and the Texas Longhorns are laying a really solid foundation. It is important to note, though, that there are heavyweight recruiters coming after Jerrick Gibson, such as Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Miami, just to name a few. This is a battle we absolutely have to keep up with, as Jerrick Gibson already has visits announced to Georgia, to Alabama, and to Texas. I can't wait to see where he ends up, but I can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down to the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Do you believe Texas ends up with their second #1 running back in the nation in as many years? Can't wait to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Let me know. That's it. See ya.